Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. This is going to be a very interesting conversation. Why? Because I feel like we've had a massive realisation. The fan base has been struck since yesterday. And some would say earlier, since the loss to Nottingham Forest, but yesterday I felt like really nailed it on. And we're going to get into the detail as to why now people are actually having the legitimate debate of, have Chelsea actually become a mid-table team? And is the realisation kicking in terms of the transfer policy, the players that we have brought in, what we actually don't have? And can Chelsea sustain itself going into the rest of the season with the squad that it currently has? On top of that, people are going to make or have opinions on Poch and his abilities, or will he be able to? The ownership, have they done right, have they done wrong? There's many factors, and this is also why yesterday in my match review, which by the way you can catch here if you haven't seen it already, where I gave you nothing but pure 100% emotion straight after the game and exactly what I was thinking. And I said it. I said I have a million things running through my head, and I'm going to try and lay it out for you so you guys can piece it all together. Go and catch that if you haven't seen it already. But this is going to be a continuation because since yesterday, I've slept it off and I technically really haven't slept it off. I'm still under the impression of I'm concerned, I'm worried, and like I said, I've personally, myself, I've had a massive realisation of the situation. I personally have had a big reality check. What's the reality check? The reality check, firstly, is for everyone to make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. That's on the screen for you right now. Much appreciated. Catch the uploads. There will be, I think, a second video later on tonight as we get into the news. If things have materialised or things are happening, we'll make sure we get into that. But this is more of a continuation of yesterday and an opinion piece from myself as to where are Chelsea going? Because I want to start off with this point alone. I don't think it's wrong to, at the start of the season, have hope and think, yeah, let's go. We've gotten rid of players we wanted to get rid of. We've got new players in. Let's see what you guys are about. Let's see what Poch is about. Let's go. Come on. Show us what you got and let's keep it moving. Come on, Chelsea. Right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do think that there is an importance to clarify that, yes, I think we got hit with a lot of dopamine. I think we got hit with a lot of exciting moments in the transfer window of, a new signing. And that is obviously going to obviously bring a positive reaction, no matter what. I feel like there was a lot of optimism in terms of the transfers, that we look at these young players, tons of potential. Are they going to hit the ground running? We hope. Come on, it's exciting times. I do want to sympathise with the ones that were not so excited as well. And the ones that were maybe a little downbeat and going, it's not enough. This isn't good enough. And at the time, I'm thinking, well, I hear you, but we got to give the opportunity, right? Let's see, because this could be quite refreshing. And that is the word. Bearing in mind what we went through last season, that was horrific. And we all came on and said the same thing. We can't have that happen again. So, when we naturally see players leave, the outgoings, as far as I'm concerned, were correct. Outgoings, players coming in, new manager, it's a new feel, it's a new fresh buzz, and I'm like, okay, let's go. I have to be honest with you guys. For the first time this season, and now I look and I think, now I'm worried. Now I'm actually worried, and I can't hide it. I want to be completely real. And hindsight is 2020. And I felt like, for me, this is exactly where hindsight really is 2020. And I want to clarify to you guys why. On one point alone. We can look at Poch and his decisions and all of that, absolutely. We can look at some individual performances, absolutely. But I do genuinely think now, having spent since yesterday really trying to process this and try and look at other people's opinions and to really try and critically think of the situation, not putting my ego in the way, but removing that and thinking, I gotta be 100% honest with the situation here. I think we might have done things wrong in the transfer window. Not necessarily wrong. I think we done things half right. Half right. There's nothing wrong with going and scouting the potential, the young talent, bringing them to the club and, come on, we think you're going to become a superstar. So let's get you in motion, let's get you playing, and let's get you learning and developing. And then in 3 years, who knows, yeah? Future Ballon d'Or winners, who knows? There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is, that's all we've done. And when I go back and I hear what we heard last week we heard about the ridiculous policy as far as I'm concerned. I heard this when I was away and I was like, nah, it can't be. And then I come back and I start hearing, and a few of the other guys that all of you watch as well were telling me the same thing and thinking, yeah, no, we had a policy. An under 25 policy. We didn't want to buy anyone over the age of 25. And now we're looking at the performances. They go hand in hand. Why do they go hand in hand? They go hand in hand because we haven't allowed ourselves to bring in any sort of leader, senior figure, experience, someone to lead and show by example as to what these young players that we've brought in need to learn from. We haven't done any of that. We turned down Maddison, apparently. I only found this out recently. We turned down Maddison. We turned down Verratti. We turned down Brozovic. Some would argue, are they good enough? I mean, yes, they're experienced and whatnot, but are they really what we need? Maybe in the short term, yes. In the short term, potentially. But the realistic problem that I feel like we have in this team, after getting all these young players through, is Chelsea still don't have a spine. And that is crucial. We don't have a spine. So now this is what fills me with worry. I look and I think, where are we going? Now I want to show you what I've seen others say. And we'll come to the realization because I'm going to show you a lot of non-Chelsea opinions here as well based on Chelsea from the outside looking in. And I think it's important. It's important to do that because sometimes we can get too caught up at what's going on inside, the real detail inside, that we forget the bigger picture. Whereas others are looking at the bigger picture and going, yo, look, done. It's a mess. So the same way we look at Man United now, you look at some Man United fans going, no, but there's this and there's this little detail. And we're like, yo, but no, your club's a mess. It's the same way people are looking at us and going, your club's a mess. We have to bear that in mind. So let's look, right? I want to show you the first thing is a very interesting account, very interesting person. I came across him yesterday, Redders, season ticket holder at Chelsea. Has a good Twitter presence, I'll be honest. But he said this, and it hit me. It hit me when I saw this. Check this out. You don't fast-track know-how or con the Premier League. You learn from experience around you, and there ain't enough. Simple. The board gambled on youth with minimal minutes and ultimately unproven, and that's the issue. Hence why I said top 6 would be a miracle. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. Now, when you look at the players that we have, yeah, we have to be real. They are unproven. They're all unproven. Every single one of them are unproven. Except, actually, not every single one. You look at an Nkunku, for example, proven. But we'll come to that in a bit. I want to end with that. We'll come to that in a bit. Chelsea have had the easiest run of fixtures so far in the whole Premier League. How? Here it is. So according to Opta's power rankings, Chelsea have had the easiest run of fixtures in the Premier League so far this season. Newcastle have had the toughest, right? Chelsea, they're at the bottom with Tottenham, who have played well. Rightfully so, because they've had an easy fixture list. Man City are top of the league. They've had an easy fixture list. Arsenal are up there. West Ham are up there. They've had an easy fixture list. Chelsea have had the easiest, yet we're 14th. This is why it fills me with concern. I said this yesterday. The run of fixtures we have coming up, it's only going to get harder. Much harder. We have to win these games, and when we don't, you know it's only heading in one direction. I don't want this video to be doom and gloom, but I'm sorry, I'm going to be real with you guys. I ain't going to shy away and try and hope that, I'm going to keep the agenda. You know what? No, what I thought was going to work isn't clearly working, but I'm going to make it is. I'm going to make it look like it is because screw it, I don't want to turn away from my old opinion. No, opinions can change, and rightfully so, but you've got to be honest, and I feel like I've got to be honest. We have to win these games. We are not. Do we have enough quality to win these games? Yes, and I'll get to that. But we're not winning those games. Now we've got Aston Villa next, Brighton in the Cup. Can you believe what's going to happen? If we don't win those games, what's going to happen? We know what's going to happen. It's going to go left. Toxic atmosphere back at the bridge, not a problem. Just like last season, if not maybe worse. But then, post playing Burnley and Fulham after the next international break, like I've said, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, City, United, Brighton, all at once. All at once. Where are we going to be after those games? Realistically, we could be down there with Luton. Do you see where it's going? This is why I'm concerned. This is why I'm worried. When we don't win against Forest, we don't win against Bournemouth away when we should. Mad. Now, Pochettino spoke yesterday, and I want to clarify this situation as well, because I feel like something needs to be said. Here it is. With all of the squad fit, we can compete, but now we don't have all of the squad available. What can we do? For me, nothing to say. The fans can do this. We had 12 injured this weekend. I'm going to cry. I'm going to complain. To who? I have to accept. Understandably, of course, he has to accept, because he has to deal with what's in front of him and what the tools that he has in front of him. Absolutely. But I want to put it out there that this injury crisis isn't actually as bad as it's portrayed to be. Why? Let's go through the players that are injured. I want to ask you one question. Be honest. The players that I'm about to read out who are injured, are any of them actual starters that we need compared to the players we have available? Let's get into it. Nkunku, absolutely. For me, absolutely. That's one. We do need Nkunku. He is a senior as well, as far as I'm concerned. And I'll come to the whole senior debate in a little bit. But yes, Nkunku has to play. Broja. We technically don't know what we're going to get with Armando Broja, let's be honest. Yes, some would say yes, throw him in because Jackson isn't getting the goals. Absolutely. But that is trial and error. Broja is about to come back, actually, by the way, and we will see when he comes back. But is he an in-and-out starter? No. Reece James? Absolutely, starter. So that's two. But, even then, is Gusto not doing the job? No, I feel like Gusto is doing the job. So are we under capacity there? No. We haven't got Reece James, but we've got a replacement who is doing the job. So technically, we should be fine. That's my point. We're not lacking there. We're not looking at that position going, we're stranded. We ain't got anyone. No, we got Gusto. That was last season. Last season when Reece James was out and we had to have just Azpilicueta with whatever was remaining of his legs. That was a problem. But, nah, we're fine. We got Gusto. Although, yes, Reece James is a starter, I would feel. But we should be okay. That's my point. So, Nkunku, and you can add Reece James to that, but that's technically a 1.5. Fofana got injured before the season began. Long term, done his flipping. I mean, he's injury prone as far as I'm concerned. I mean, this probably was a mistake signing, if I'm being completely honest, because he had issues when he was at Leicester. He's having issues now. He had it last season. He's had it again this season. Would he be a starter? Some would argue, but if he were to be a starter, he'd replace Thiago Silva as the right centre back. Am I correct? Because right now Thiago Silva's not playing. Thiago Silva is playing at right centre back. We got, or where in a position that he's meant to be playing in, we should have Thiago Silva and we should have a left central defender next to him. Sometimes we see Silva tucking over because Colwell's tucking into left back, so we do have that. But would Fofana be starting week in, week out? You could say. However, we should still be okay without Fofana. We got Disasi in, we've got Silva, we've got Colwell. Chalobah is there. Technically, should we be okay? You can count Fofana in if you want. Chukwuemeka, is he an in-and-out starter? Well, right now he is technically because Nkunku's not in the team, but we go back to the Nkunku point. Nkunku should be there. But is Chukwuemeka an in-and-out starter? No, he's rotation. So, there's that. Badiashile. Well, we've got Levi Colwell. Some would argue, actually, you know what, play Badiashile. But is Badiashile proven to the point where he should start every single game? Many people are going to put Levi Colwell ahead of him. Have that debate in the comments. Who would you start, Colwell or Badiashile? Because you can't have both. They're both left central. They're both left centre backs. They're both left central defenders. Let me know. Who would you choose? Caicedo. Caicedo for me would start. For sure. Would start. Ahead of what we've got in midfield now, would start. So for me, that is 3. But even then, even with Caicedo, and we're going to come to the whole senior debate in a little bit. Caicedo for me though, would start. So that's 3. Lavia. Would Lavia start? He's not played. We still don't technically know what to expect from Romeo Lavia. He's not played a minute. We don't know. All we have is what he's done at Southampton. So technically, we should still have the options there prior to getting Lavia in. We should still have the midfielders that are there that we're going to be using. And rightfully so. If we do have an Enzo, Caicedo, some people are going to vouch for Gallagher. Some people are going to say, you know what, no, yeah, Lavia comes in. Lavia is going to be someone that we can use, but is he an in-and-out starter that we are absolutely missing really, really badly? No, not yet. He might be in the future, but he's not there yet, and he's not played a minute, so we don't know. So, I wouldn't count him. Bettinelli, no. Madueke. Is Madueke an in-and-out starter? You could argue, because if Sterling moves over to the left-hand side, perhaps, but Sterling right now is on the right. And Sterling's on the right, he starts ahead of Madueke. That's just the reality. So, no. Cucurella, is he starting week in, week out? Is he a starter? No. So, out of all the players that I've just mentioned that are injured, maybe 3 are starters. So, is it as bad as we portray it to be? Should we still have the options there that are going to play and play well? We should. And like yesterday, the team was good enough for us to go to Bournemouth and get a result. So this is my point. We're not turning to academy boys, for example. They were on the bench yesterday, but we didn't turn to them in terms of, look, we haven't got anyone. We got a crisis. You have to play. Not like when Jurgen Klopp had his crisis at Liverpool and he literally had no one to turn to. He started bringing on academy boys because he had no one else. No, we ain't got that. We have options. So is it as bad as it's portrayed to be? So that's one thing. Now, when we turn in terms of the players that we actually brought in, some of the names that I've just mentioned, there is still a problem with those names. Except for Nkunku for me. Except for Nkunku. Here's what Alan Pardew had to say, and I feel like this is important. Chelsea have bought all these players for the future. It's about now. When you're in the Premier League, it's about now. Especially when you're the manager, because you're going to come under pressure if you don't get the results. This is where I start to divert the conversation into what have we actually done in the transfer window? What did we do? Like I said earlier on, I think we're half right. I think, yes, we brought in potential. We brought in players with a high ceiling, as some people want to say. We brought in players that might be fantastic in 3 or 4 years' time, not now. But that's all we've done. So we haven't really addressed the now. And this is why I'm worried. This is why I'm now in a situation after yesterday thinking, who do we turn to? Who in the team can we turn to that has enough expertise, enough experience, enough know-how to know what to do? Who do these young players rely on? Who do these young players turn to? Who do these young players look at as an example? Right now, Thiago Silva, Sterling, that's it. You'd look at Chilwell, but he's not putting the performances in. You'd look at Reece James. He's not playing. He's injured. But that's it. That's it. We still don't have that spine. So, let's look into more. We're worried about the future so much that we neglected the now. We bought unproven and now it's showing. Also have Gus Mears saying, while Roman was often accused of short-term thinking, we are now seeing the other extreme. Our owners are investors and have treated the game as such. Our focus on young talent is at the expense of the now. Could be a tough couple of years ahead. That's the realization. We have this as well. Chelsea's plan of signing hyped-up trendy players first on 7-year deals, hope for best and work out what to do after, is stupid. Having to rebuild the rebuild because the other rebuild was shit ain't ambition, it's reckless. 1 billion on potential means nothing without stability. To an extent here, I have to agree. Like I said, we've done things half right. We didn't actually get in the expertise or the players that can actually do something now or lead by example now or take the game by the scruff of the neck and have the experience to know what to do, like a Maddison that's gone to Tottenham and is showing what he can do. Maddison would have actually been a good signing. Why? Because he's been on both extremes. He's seen really good moments and he's seen really bad moments at Leicester. But he's experienced enough and technical enough to be able to play in a role where people can look at him as an example. We've not got that. Instead, as Nizar Kinsella has said, we got this. 13 internationals left Chelsea in the summer and 11 young players joined to create the youngest squad in the Premier League, averaging just 23.5 years. Leslie Ugochukwu yesterday became the 37th player to start a Premier League match for Chelsea in 2023. Do you see where it's going? Now, based on the players that we are turning to now to get us something going, this is where my realisation yesterday is really kicking in. I want to get your thoughts. The players that we've brought in haven't done the mileage. They just haven't done the mileage. And at Chelsea Football Club, you can't have a bunch of players that haven't done the mileage. What do I mean by that? Players that have just played a handful of games and boom, welcome to Chelsea. Based on what? Even those players themselves, when they're in a situation like this, are going to look at themselves and go, I don't know what to do. Or they're going to turn to their teammates and realise that they're in the same situation as them and going, I don't know what to do. Do you know what to do? No? Everyone's stuck because they've not been there before. They haven't done the mileage. They haven't put the yards in to build a foundation for themselves, let alone compete at an elite top level club like Chelsea Football Club that are meant to be up there competing for a European spot. What do I mean? I'll give you guys some example. Mudryk. We'll start, not just Mudryk, by the way, we're going to put this all. Mudryk, prior coming to Chelsea, played a total of 44 games for Shakhtar. In the midst of his Shakhtar year, his time at Shakhtar, he had 2 loan spells. One at Desna and one at Arsenal Kiev. Both playing 10 games each or 11 and 10 for either club. That's it. That's all he's done. Is that enough to then come to Chelsea Football Club and be asked to perform straight away? No. Caicedo, let's be honest. 53 games for Brighton. That's it. He played 31 for Independiente over back at home. That's it. That's all Caicedo's done. Lavia. I'm only talking senior minutes, by the way. I'm not talking under 19s, under 20s. I'm not talking that. Because that's... every player does that. I'm talking senior minutes. Proven senior minutes. Lavia, 34 games for Southampton. That's it. Cole Palmer, 41 appearances for City. That's it. Even Enzo Fernandez, even World Cup winner. Young age, very young age. But this is what I'm saying. Young age, 29 games for Benfica. Before that, played 53 for River Plate. That is actually somewhat acceptable, on the limit. That's basically on the limit. That comes to a total of about, 80 games or so? Even then. We should be looking at players that have at least put about 100 games in. At least. But we're not. Reece James, for example, is someone that has put the mileage in, even at a young age. So it's not about how old they are, it's about how much experience they've had. Nicholas Jackson, 47 games for Villarreal. That's it. Madueke, funnily enough, 80 games for PSV. But that's it. Ugochukwu, who we're turning to when we haven't got Caicedo, we've not got Lavia, like the names I've just mentioned, 60 games for Stade Rennais. That's it. We're turning to players that haven't done enough. Maybe the potential's high. Maybe in those games, they've played well, but they've not done enough to then be asked to come to Chelsea and take a team like Chelsea by the scruff of the neck in a moment like this and expect them to claw us out. They're not going to. So that's the realisation. The realisation has kicked in that are these players capable of lifting us out of the situation? Unfortunately, without a spine, without leaders. None of them are leaders. Without leaders there, without senior figures to turn to, no. So the realization from yesterday is we are expecting maybe something a little delusional. We have to admit. On top of that, some of the players that we do have in the team, and I want to use this as an example, Frank Leboeuf put this, and I said this in my review yesterday, I believe the IQ of some of the players is low. Some, not all. The IQ is low. Leboeuf said Gallagher had a chance to play an easy 4-yard pass to Jackson and he put it behind him. I got up from my sofa, screamed and said, how is that possible? They do silly, stupid, clumsy stuff in the final third which does not allow them to score goals. And it's not just Gallagher here. I mentioned this yesterday. Sterling was guilty of it and he's experienced. Cole Palmer was guilty of it when he decided to pass out to Sterling and Sterling passed it back to him only for him to then take the shot when he could have taken the shot in the first instance. Just the IQ of some of the players, the intelligence in the moment under pressure is lacking. It's just lacking. It's lacking. How do we want to get out of this situation? That's the realization. I now look at the business that we done in the summer and I don't think we done enough. Not to say we didn't spend enough. We spent enough, but we prioritized wrong. We're looking way too long term without even considering the short term. And anyone that wants to say, oh no, but if we got to look long term. I'm not saying don't look long term, but don't ignore the short term because there is no long term without a short term. And we already clarified this last season when we were talking about Graham Potter and getting the results. When we don't have the short term, you ain't going to make the long term. That's logical, and it's more applicable today than any other time in footballing history. Why? Because money is involved. You need to be able to perform ASAP, much more than you would have been able to before. Before, there was somewhat a little bit of patience. Now, as much as Todd Bowley and the others don't want to admit it, or they don't want to look at it, or if they have looked at it, they don't think it's a big deal, they're going to soon find out that financially they're going to take a hit and they're going to realize and think, oh my God. So, what do we do now? Well, transfer window's closed. And the players that we have to turn to, like Nkunku, is going to come back in January. This is why I'm worried now. I am concerned. I am legitimately concerned. If we don't get a result against Villa and Brighton, for example, they're knocked out the cup, lose even more points, and then we got to go through those fixtures from post-October. This could get to a dark place. This could get to a dark place. Because we're asking some of these players that have not they've just not put in the mileage. It's going to take time. These players to be able to reach a level is going to take about 2 or 3 years. We ain't got 2 or 3 years. Simple as that. So can we ride it out till January? It's going to be interesting. But it's the realization now, like I said, is that it's pointing in the direction of we are going to struggle. Because we haven't got the leadership in the team. There is no spine. And we're asking too much of these young lads that just need the time to be able to get to a certain level. Do Chelsea have that time? No. We can't go 2 years without European football. We just can't. So now I end with the question. If that were to happen, do we become a mid-table team? Is that where we are now? Because it won't change. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you later on for video number 2, where we will go into detail in terms of the news and the fallout from everyone and what's happening in relation to not just Chelsea, but across the board. But the big reaction is around Chelsea because that's the hot talking point right now. And the fact that, yeah, they're just not scoring goals. They're not picking up points. They're just not looking like they're going to score a goal, let's be honest. And it's just looking like we are going to struggle. We're heading in one direction and one direction only. So let me know your thoughts. Much appreciated. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you have enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out the socials. They are on screen for you right now and in the description. And I will see all of you later on for video number 2. Have a good one, people. See you tonight. Take care and peace.